Hello friends and welcome back. Today we are performing experiment on mesh or loop analysis. By using this method, you can calculate current flowing through any resistance of any linear network. Okay, so this experimental setup basically we are using a T-type network. Okay, and here we are forming two loops. Okay, and by using loop current method or mesh analysis, we want to find the current flowing through this middle resistance. Okay. So we have to calculate current flowing through R2. So for this experiment we are using this experimental setup. Okay, so you are already acquainted with this experimental setup. We have already performed Norton theorem, Thevenin theorem, then node analysis we have performed, again superposition theorem we have performed by using same experimental kit. Okay, so basically we have soldered all the resistances from the backside like this. Okay, and we have used some connectors over here. So these connectors are I1, I2 and I3. These are used for connection of ammeters, external ammeters, and V1 and V2 are used for connecting external power supply. Okay, so same experimental kit we can use to perform numerous experiments in electrical circuits. Okay, so if you have not seen my previous videos, the links are available in description, so you can see how to perform various experiments using this experimental board. Okay, so for this experiment we are using this DC regulated power supply. So this is dual channel power supply. Okay, so at a time we are using two different voltages, right? Okay, so if you look at the circuit, we are having two different voltages, 5 volt and 1 volt. Okay, so that voltage we are applying by using these two channels, channel 1 and channel 2. Okay, so let us start the experiment. And what should be the process for your experiment? What we will do the connection as per this circuit diagram. Okay, and then we will measure this loop current I1. Now I1 is flowing through R1, and we will measure second loop current I2. I2 is flowing through R3. Okay, so we will use ammeters in series with R1 and R3. Okay, and then we will measure I1 and I2. Okay, and these I1 and I2 are flowing through R2. So what should be your load current? I1 plus I2. So that we have to calculate. So let us start with the connections. Now what we are doing, this is our dual power supply. So this is channel 1. So what I will do, first of all I will turn on the power supply, and now what is the voltage required? 5 volt and 1 volt is required. So I have already selected that value by using this knobs. Okay, so first of all select the voltage as per your need, then turn off the power supply, because while doing connections your power supply should be off. Okay, now what I will do, I will connect the positive here and negative here. Okay, as per the circuit diagram. Then this is your 1 volt. So 1 volt is connected from this end. So 1 volt is connected over here. Okay, and now what you have to do, you have to measure current flowing through this. Okay, so that is nothing but your IL. Okay, and for measurement of IL, we have to measure I1 and I2. So this is your loop current. Loop current 1 is flowing through this R1. Okay, so what I will do, first of all I will connect ammeter over here. So that will give you I1 current. Okay, so since we are not using these ammeters, we have to short these two ammeters. Okay, so we are shorting these two terminals. Okay, and now what I will do, I am using this multimeter as an ammeter. So I have selected DC over here, and I have selected milliampere range over here, and again positive wire is connected to milliampere and negative is connected to the common. Okay, and now what I am doing, I am connecting positive of the ammeter over here. Okay, and negative of ammeter over here. So what happens, this multimeter will show current, loop current 1. Okay, so now I will turn on the power supply. So as soon as I turn on the power supply, here you can see that we are having 5 volt and 1 volt. Okay, and what is the current you are getting? This is your ammeter is connected in loop 1. So you are getting 2.22 milliampere. So here you can see that we have noted this value 2.23 milliampere. Okay, now what I will do, I will turn off the power supply. Now I want to measure current flowing through second loop. Okay, so what I will do, I will remove this short circuit. Okay, and now I will connect the ammeter over here. Okay, but since now one thing you have to remember, how we are assuming the direction of current is flowing from this positive, means current is entering this R3 from this terminal. Okay, so this is acting as your positive terminal and this is acting as your negative terminal. But on this experimental kit we are having positive on left side, negative on right hand side. But as per your circuit diagram, positive is on right hand side. Okay, so what you have to remember, positive of ammeter. Now your current is entering from this terminal, so this will be your positive. Okay, and second terminal from where your current is leaving, it will be your negative. Okay, so you have to keep eye on this polarity, and this ammeter we are not using, so I will short these two terminals. Okay, so now your ammeter is connected over here. Okay, so you are getting the second loop current. Okay, now I will turn on the power supply. So what you are getting, 0.91 milliampere, but minus, so you have to keep watch on this symbol. So minus 0.91 milliampere. So note down this value. So now we have noted this value, minus 0.91 milliampere. Now you have to measure total current IL. Now that total current IL is available over here, because as per our circuit diagram, what is your load current flowing through R2. So now we have to connect ammeter in series with R2. So for that purpose I will again turn off the power supply. Okay, now what I will do, I will remove the ammeter. Okay, and at that place I will connect short circuit like this. Okay, and now current is entering from the top, so this is your positive and this is your negative. Okay, so now setup is ready. Turn on the power supply. So what you are getting, 0.31 milliampere. So this is nothing but your IL. So note down this value. So we have written this value, what we are getting, 1.31 milliampere. That value is noted over here. So now if you want to verify whether your experiment is correct or not, so here what we have written, IL. So your load current is what? Basically combination of loop current 1 and loop current 2. So IL is nothing but what? I1 plus I2. So if we do the algebraic addition of I1 and I2, we should get this value. Okay, so I have done the calculations, and what is your I1? 2.23 milliampere, and what is your I2? Minus 0.91 milliampere. So here you can find that the value is coming 1.32 milliampere, and here your value is 1.31 milliampere. So almost same value we are getting. This means that our experiment is correct. Okay, now further we can verify this experiment with the help of calculations. Okay, in actual we will apply loop analysis to this circuit, means by using KVL we will solve the equations, and then we will find the values of I1, I2 and load current IL. That value should match with this experimental values. Okay, so this is about demonstration part. So friends, we have already covered the demonstration part. Now we will verify our experimental results with calculation. Okay, so actually we have to apply the mesh analysis. So first of all I will draw the circuit diagram over here. So this is your circuit diagram. In this diagram you are having two loops. So we are indicating them by current I1 and I2. So these are your two loops. Okay, now we have to find out the current flowing through this middle resistance R2. Okay, so if you look at this loop currents, what we can conclude, the current flowing through this resistance R2 is nothing but algebraic addition of I1 and I2. Okay, so what current we are getting over here? I1 plus I2. Okay, and now we will indicate the polarities of voltage drop. So this is the positive plate of 5 volt and negative plate. So voltage polarities are fixed. Okay, but so far as the voltage drops are considered, so what we are assuming, the point from which current is entering, we are calling it as positive and another as negative. Similarly, through R3, current is entering from this terminal, leaving from this terminal, so positive and negative. And through the R2, both I1 and I2 are entering from the top and leaving from the bottom, so minus sign. So in this way you have to indicate the voltage drops. Okay, so this plus and minus indicates the voltage drop across R1, R2 and R3 respectively. Okay, now we have to apply KVL to these individual loops. Okay, so one by one we will apply. So first of all we will apply KVL to the loop 1. So now we are applying KVL to this loop 1. Okay, so whatever elements are present in this loop, you have to write down them in the form of voltage, because what we are applying, voltage law, Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, so what you are having in this loop, 5, okay, then R1 we are having and R2 you are having. Okay, so since we have to write each term in terms of voltage, we have to multiply. This is already 5 is already voltage, but resistance R1 is resistance. So if you multiply this with I1, you will get the voltage drop across R1. So again this is converted into voltage term. Similarly, through this R2 which current is flowing? I1 plus I2 current is flowing. So if we multiply resistance with currents, we will get the voltage. So this is 5 volt, I1 R1, R2 into I1 plus I2, all three are voltage terms. Okay, so algebraic sum of all these currents, voltage drops should be equal to 0. Okay, now we have to give the sign. So for giving the sign, consider the current direction. So let us focus at I1. Now I1 is entering through this 5 volt from minus terminal. So use minus sign over here. Through this R1 current is entering from positive terminal, so you have to use positive over here, and through this R2 current is entering from the positive terminal, so again you have to use positive over here. Okay, now solve this equation, take this 5 on the right hand side. So what you are getting, I1 R1 plus I1 R2 plus I2 R2, okay, is equal to 5. Now take I1 common, what you are getting, R1 plus R2, okay, plus I2 R2 is equal to 5. So this equation you are getting. Now put the values of R1 and R2 in this equation. So this equation you are getting. So call this as equation number 1. Okay. Now apply similarly we have to apply the KVL for loop 2. So now we are applying KVL to the second loop. Okay. So in this loop, which elements are present? 1 volt, R3 and R2. So 1, then R3 and R2. Okay. And we have to write all these terms in terms of voltage, because we are writing KVL equation. Okay. So through this R3 which current is flowing? I2 is flowing. Okay, so we will multiply with I2. So I2 R3. Through this R2 which current is flowing? I1 plus I2. Okay, so I1 plus I2. So this current is flowing. Okay, and algebraic sum of all these voltage drops should be equal to 0. So 1 volt, then I2 R3 and I1 plus I2 into R2. All these are voltage terms. Okay, so this is your KVL equation. Now you have to give sign. Okay, so for that purpose we are considering this current direction. So I2 current is entering from negative terminal. Okay, in this 1 volt. So we will write minus 1 over here. Then through this R3 current is entering from positive terminal. So we will write positive over here. Through this R2 current is entering from positive terminal. Okay, so again we will write positive over here, and algebraic sum of all these three terms should be equal to 0. Okay, so now rearrange this equation. So what you are getting, I2 into R3 plus I1 into R2 plus I2 into R2, okay, is equal to 1. Now take I2 common. Okay, so first of all we will write I1 term. So I1 R2 plus, now we are taking I2 common. So in bracket what we are getting, R2 plus R3 is equal to 1. Now put the values of R2 and R3. Or what you can do, you can find out the value of I1. Okay, so I1 R2 is equal to what? 1 minus I2 into R2 plus R3. Okay, so what I1 you are getting? I1 is equal to 1 minus I2 into R2 plus R3 this whole divided by, now we are taking this R2 on this side, so divided by R2. Okay, now put the values. You are getting this value of I1. Okay, now put this value in equation 1. So you have to put this in equation 1 in this equation. Okay, so therefore now your equation 1 becomes 3144. Okay, so here we are putting the value of I1. Okay, so multiplied by 1 minus 4153 I2 divided by 2171. Okay, plus 2171 I2 is equal to 5. So this is nothing but your equation number 1. Okay, so now solve this equation. What you are getting, if you calculate this, what you will get, 1.448 minus 6014 I2 plus 2171 I2 is equal to 5. So we have solved this bracket. Okay, so now add these two terms. What you are getting, minus 3843 I2 is equal to, take 1.44 on this side, so what you are getting, 3.55. it will get subtracted from 5. Okay, so if you calculate I2, what you are getting, minus 0.92 milliampere. Okay, so this is the value of I2 you are getting after applying KVL. So note down this value. So what we are getting, minus 0.92 milliampere. Okay, so now we have got the value of I2. So if you put this value in equation 1, you will get the value of I1. Okay, so now this is your equation number 1. Here we will put the value of I2 and we will calculate I1. So what you are getting, 3144 I1 plus 2171, what is your I2, minus 0.92 milliampere. Okay, is equal to 5. Calculate this, you will get the value of I1. So if you do the calculations, your current comes out to be 2.22 milliampere. Okay, so this is the value of current you are getting in loop 1. Okay, so put this value in our observation table. So what you are getting here, 2.22 milliampere. Okay, now we have to find the load current. Load current is addition of I1 and I2. So if you do the algebraic addition, so what you are getting, 1.30 milliampere. Okay, so this is all about calculation and observations. Now we have to match the theoretical results with experimental results. Okay, so one by one we will compare. So what is the value of I1 you are getting? Theoretically 2.22 and practically it was 2.23, so almost same value. Then I2 calculated value was minus 0.92, experimental value was minus 0.91, so again almost same value we are getting. And finally, what is the load current you are getting? On paper you are getting 1.30 milliampere and experimentally you are getting 1.31 milliampere. Okay, so if you compare your theoretical results with experimental results, what you can observe, almost same values you are getting. Okay, so in this way you can say that you have verified the mesh analysis. Okay, so in this way we can apply mesh analysis or Maxwell's loop current method to find out current flowing through any branch. Okay, so here we have calculated that the current flowing through R2, this load current, is nothing but 1.30 milliampere. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. If you are having any doubts and difficulties, please let me know in the comment box. So your suggestions are welcome. Okay, and please do not forget to subscribe my channel. Okay, if you are having any suggestions, please let me know. So thank you very much for watching this video. Have a nice day. Thank you.